Hey, I was going to deliver.
Oh, for... Hi there, my name's Ruin, and today I'm here to explore the law in a way that no one else has ever done before, and how it makes William innocent. Let's go. We'll start with their backstory. Henry was the designer of animatronics, and William was a businessman who also built animatronics. It's kind of unclear. Anyway, they both end up being co-owners of Fazbear Entertainment, but we first started with the Fredbear's Family Diner. It was at this point, late 70s, early 80s,
Was that the bite of 87?
that Henry and William both had wives and their respective children, Charlie, Dave, Elizabeth, and Michael. Yes, I'm a Dave CC believer, sue me. However, William had been neglecting his children, leading to Dave being killed in the bite of 83 after a freak accident. After this, they then opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, not FNAF 2 because something timelines. It was at one of these places that Charlie, Henry's daughter, is hit and run by a certain William Afton. Around this time, William becomes a super scientist and decides to build the Terminators of FNAF, the fun times. Then his daughter McFricking dies to one of these animatronics, possessing Circus Baby. William becomes obsessed with Remnant, trying to go across pizzerias to extract the metal from the animatronics. However, he gets caught by the spirits of the children he killed. Wait, did I forget to mention that? He goes on a killing spree. He then gets spring-locked because water dropped into the suit, leading to a pretty horrific death. He gets locked away for a while, and meanwhile, the final remaining Afton child, Michael, goes to Afton's Funtime basement, gets his organs scooped out in place of an amalgamation of all the Funtimes, then goes on a spree to burn down all the Freddy's locations, including the one his good old papa is at. He finally reaches the last place where Henry and Michael work together to burn down the building, freeing any remaining spirits for good and dying in the fire themselves. Supposedly. There's a lot of people who think Michael got out. So, this feels quite cut and dry. Henry and William hate each other. Henry kills William, their entire bloodline is now missing, except their wives, but we don't really know what's going on with them. So how the heck could this be romantic in any way? Well, I propose an alternate theory. First, let's look at common romantic tropes and how they fit. For this, I used Jericho Writer's top 20 romantic tropes, and we'll see if Henry and William fit them. Instead of taking you through all 20, I'll just show you the ones that fit Henry and William. 1. The meet cute, where one of them embarrasses themselves and they meet. Henry and William likely met because Henry's business is dying. 2. Enemies to lovers. Again, Henry's business was failing, and Henry must have been bitter for it, surely. Plus, they were enemies again by the end. Get on AO3, because this is top tier angst. 3. False proximity. In FNAF 4, we see the room where the performers get suited up. That's a very small cupboard they'd have to squeeze in. 4. Destiny. You cannot tell me that their fates weren't entirely intertwined. The whole FNAF timeline only happens because of their destiny being so united. 5. Forbidden love. They both had their wives in its late 70s, early 80s. They could never be together. 6. I have a secret. Well, I think William's mass murder counts as a secret, one that could break Henry and William's relationship. 7. Fake relationship. They hated each other at first, but had to form this business relationship. 8. Love triangle. We'll talk about Edwin Murray later. 9. Opposites attract. I mean, just look at their colour schemes. These dudes were polar opposites. 10. Fish out of water. William was out of his depth with building animatronics. Henry was out of his depth with business deals. They helped each other. That's half of the 20 tropes, by the way. 11. Stuck together. They literally need each other to keep the business going. Neither one of them could run it alone. 12. Just friends. They're just business partners. 13. It was right in front of you all along, and it was. Henry and William die in a fire together, and also, Henry loses William when the accident happens when William goes insane. 14. Happily ever after. Or not. They both end up dead, not having the happy ending, making this a tragic love story. So, that's 14 out of 20 romantic tropes that Henry and William fit. However, I did say we were going to talk about Edwin Murray too. Throughout Secret of the Mimic, we learn that Edwin loved his wife and son, even building an animatronic to replace his wife. That's what he wants you to believe anyway. Isn't it interesting that his wife died at Fall Fest, an event supposedly held by Fazbear Entertainment, shifting the blame onto them? Isn't it interesting, at the first possible opportunity, Edwin locks his wife away in Mux's Mexes? I don't know, man. Then the mimic goes crazy, mimicking William Afton, dressing like him. What if I told you that William never did the murders? It was Edwin's mimic made to tear Henry and William apart because Edwin loved Henry. And this reframes the entire FNAF timeline, and it means we've been looking at this the wrong way the entire time. No wonder we weren't able to solve it, especially mysteries like what's in the box, because we were looking at it at completely the wrong angle. Let's reboot this timeline. Henry and William meet in the 1960s, feeling an instant attraction to each other. Henry is a failing businessman, but William just finds him so brilliant. They create a deal. Henry will deal with the building of animatronics. William will handle the business side. Their company begins to thrive, and so does their relationship. Something more is there. But back then, being gay was frowned upon. The world just wasn't ready for them. So they find themselves wives, have kids, doing what was common back then, finding beards in quotes. Henry is able to get along with his wife, and so is William. But it's not long before they lead to a divorce. It's not working. They still love each other. Meanwhile, they begin to realize that they're falling a bit behind on the workload, and they have a chance to expand the business. Edwin Murray. At first, they get along well, but Edwin and Henry are unusually close. Of course, William is quite jealous, but Henry is happy. However, William begins to get suspicious. The springlock suits that are being sent are dangerous and malfunctioning. It's like Edwin is sabotaging his own work. So of course, William sends back feedback for Edwin to fix them. Edwin begins to lash out, gets absorbed in his work, and becomes deeply jealous of William and Henry's relationship. To get back at the company, he sets it up so his wife dies at Fazbear's Fall Fest. Of course, Henry is devastated for Edwin, spending more time with him and comforting him. William is devastated by this, but still, Henry's happiness is his priority. He goes out of his way to help the financially ruined Edwin, even buying Edwin's family land, but letting Edwin remain there. But soon, Edwin's son has died too. Edwin is so absorbed in his hatred for William and love for Henry that he neglects David, leading to David's death. Edwin blames this on William for being in the way. Edwin decides to start an evil plan to frame William and get him out of the picture. And so he brings William to his house one day to show his new technology and how it imitates his son. Edwin and William fight because something is strange and it feels inhumane. It's not healthy for Edwin to do this. And so the mimic becomes afflicted with the personality of William and David. His plan is working, but the mimic continues to imitate David, the false identity, not William. So Edwin beats it. He succeeds in turning the mimic into a William substitute, but in doing so, gets killed by it too. You see, the mimic was inflicted by William's sadness and anger, not his incredibly good nature. The mimic takes a while to plan to scheme. If it is to be evil, it must plan things. And William, unintentionally, gives him this opportunity. When William's son died, it's easy to present him as a broken man. William is grieving and becomes distant from Henry. Meanwhile, Henry believes William has been manipulating Edwin before his death and can never trust him again. Their bond is broken. So when Henry's daughter dies in the back alley, witnessed in a purple car, driven by mimic William, Henry loves William too much to report him. So instead, he tells William to leave and never come back. William goes to the Funtime basement, building a place to hide away. His feelings for Henry are written and sealed into a box, hidden under the ground. Right now, there was no chance of rekindling his relationship with Henry. Some things are best left forgotten. For now. But then, an idea has come to mind. If he wasn't driving the car, but someone who looks like him did, then it must be something else. Edwin's mimic. He begins to experiment, knowing he can prove it. Meanwhile, he rents out animatronics to other places in order to fund his adventures. He finds the answer in an accidental way. His daughter dies to Circus Baby, and now Michael hates him too. Even worse, the mimic has begun a spree of murder hiding inside the Golden Rabbit suit. Henry thinks this can only be William, but at least William finally has the answer. He rushes to the pizzeria, going into the back rooms to find Henry and explain the truth, but the children see William and think he's the murderer. He sees an old suit, and in a desperate attempt to save himself, he hides in the suit. He begins to laugh hysterically at how stupid the whole situation is. when the spring lock suit goes off. Spirits think they have their justice, and Henry finds William there. He thinks he found the murderer. He seals off the place, William wronged and just wanting to right this injustice. Finally, several years later, he is unearthed and put into Fazbear Frights. He needs a plan to escape and share the truth, and lo and behold, there is Michael, his beloved son. But Michael has been scooped. Elizabeth has misunderstood her father's mission too, inflicted by William's agony and sadness at being framed for the murders. Thinking he really did them, leading to the scooping. Michael is resentful. William begs for Michael not to leave him there, not to be left to this awful fate, but it's too late. Michael misunderstands and burns William. He is trying to undo his father's acts, not knowing they're not actually his father's. Then we reach Pizzeria Simulator and we know what happens. Henry dies with the one who got away, the one he thought he could trust, not realizing that William was never the villain. The Mimic's job is done. He creates and uploads a series of games painting William as the villain, forever ruining his reputation. But Edwin never died. He wasn't done. Henry was now dead. He could never have Henry's love. He becomes delusional and begins to build a life as if he were William. He finds the Mimic again, who is lacking directive, to build William's family again. But with Henry and William dead, he finds a contract loophole where he inherits everything back that he invented for them, leading to a great fortune, letting him build the Pizzaplex. He gives the Mimic a purpose back. It was difficult to put the pieces together, but this time it went right. He kidnaps Gregory to replace Crying Child. He kidnaps Vanessa to make her into Elizabeth. The Mimic, however, knows this is wrong. He is at William's place of death, and now he feels William's pain. He calls Cassie down to free him. He has to get the truth out, but she runs from him. He just wants to tell the truth. She's about to get away, but she must understand. He crashes the elevator and also saves Cassie from Edwin's reach. He has to fix things.
Cassie, you don't understand! William's not evil!
And now, it's time to take Edwin down and free the Mimic. And it makes sense. There isn't any evidence to disprove this. You've all fallen for Edwin's narrative. But that's not the real point of this video. The point of this video is to prove something. FNAF theories are so stupidly hard to make these days. We have so little canon information that we're gambling with theories these days. This whole video was to prove a point. We have such little context these days to work with, such little confirmed information, and I don't think this is a good thing. Once upon a time, sure, but we need to heavily rely on the new game to solve it, and I do think something has to change. We can guess and theorize, but there are so many retcons and changes these days that it's possible that one day we wake up, a book comes out, Henry and William really were in love and it was Edwin's Mimic the whole time. The lore is constantly changing, and whilst the games are getting better, something needs to change. Even sources like the confirmed guide were absolutely full of misinformation, and it feels like there's a lack of care compared to what there used to be. It feels intricate detail is missing to the point that we're all so excited when a new ARG comes out, even though it is entirely fake. And I think this is an opportunity, if I'm being honest. Steel Wool has the opportunity to restore classic FNAF clues, classic FNAF evidence, classic FNAF lore, but we do need more to work with. It's not possible to keep going this way, and the franchise will slowly flicker out if it doesn't stay consistent. FNAF as a whole will slowly die if we don't do something, because the fandom is dying out. The theories are becoming more and more outlandish because we have nothing to work with, and we can't keep this pattern. FNAF theorists are so passionate, but when you're not giving them anything much to work with, it's quite difficult. It is improving, mind you. I think Secret of the Mimic was definitely a massive improvement on hiding that lore, especially like the little emails, but there's still a way to go. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining me on this crazy ride. I hope you enjoyed it. And wait, what's that Was that the bite of 87? That's a very small cupboard they'd have to squeeze in. It was Edwin's Mimic, made to tear Henry and William apart. Because we were looking at it at completely the wrong angle. But William just finds him so brilliant, leading to David's death. When you're so gay, you're driven by Mimic William. Fucking Mimic William, bro.
William's not evil.